In a world overflowing with information, where every click and keystroke seems boundless, have you ever wondered about the invisible rules shaping what you can access, share, and say? Behind the scenes of our digital age, there's a hidden player: censorship. Imagine a world where your words are hushed, your thoughts held back, and your truth twisted. It's a dance between technology and control, where innovation meets limits. So, let's kick things off by getting a clear picture of what censorship is. But hey, I won't bore you with dry definitions. Instead, I'll take you on a little journey. We'll step into real-world situations where censorship shows its face. This way, you'll really see how it works and understand how it affects folks like you and me, as well as our digital world. Censorship is when someone, usually a government or authority, controls what others can say or share. It's like a filter that stops certain ideas or information from being spread. This can happen with books, movies, news, the internet, and other conversations. Get ready for an eye-opening exploration of technology and censorship, where the fusion of innovation and control reshapes our understanding of freedom. And stay tuned, because we'll also delve into how censorship has been portrayed and explored in popular culture, like the series Silo. Like, share, and subscribe. In Kenya, during Daniel Arap Moi's 24 years presidency, there's a significant increase in media censorship. This was particularly evident in 1994 and 1995 when Moi publicly criticized the Daily Nation, a privately owned newspaper. In response, the Daily Nation terminated the contracts of 3 reporters who had written about government corruption, and its news editor Mutegi Njau was arrested on charges of subversion. Fast forward to September 2018, after the Supreme Court of Kenya nullified the election results involving the former President Uhuru Kenyatta and his opponent Raila Odinga. Following this decision, the president ordered the shutdown of 4 TV stations. This led to fear among the public, with people worrying about speaking out and facing punishment. This type of censorship is political in nature, as it aims to control information and limit dissenting voices in the political context. In June 2023, Moses Kuria, the Cabinet Secretary for Trade and Investment, made some troubling remarks that stirred controversy. It all began when the privately owned Nation Media Group published reports alleging the involvement of government officials in a corrupt scheme to import duty-free cooking oil to the detriment of taxpayers. Kuria's response to this publication was quite concerning though. He not only made derogatory remarks about the Nation Media Group through his X platform, formerly known as Twitter, but also threatened economic sanctions against them. This can be seen as an attempt to censor the media and stifle opposing voices. In doing so, it undermines the freedom of press, which is a fundamental aspect of any democratic society, and shows disregard to constitutionally protected freedoms. To further emphasize his point, Kuria even threatened to fire government officials who advertise with the Nation Media Group. Essentially, he declared a sort of commercial war on the media house. He didn't stop there. He also insulted Nation staff and principal shareholder of the group.
Na nimaliza nyinyi watu wa media kusema Nation Media muamue kama nyinyi ni gazeti ama broadcasting house ama media house ama ni chama cha upinzani. Na mimi nimesema kutoka leo hata sio kesho, idara yote ya serikali nitaona imeweka advertisement kwa Nation Media, ujihesabu kwa nyumbani.
Now, why is this concerning? Such behavior can lead to something called self-censorship within media organizations. Self-censorship occurs when journalists or media outlets hold back information due to fear of punishment or backlash. This fear can ultimately limit the free flow of information and stifle public debate, which is not in the best interest of a democratic society. Now, let's shift our focus from Kenya to Uganda and dive deeper into what happened there. In January 2021, during Uganda's general elections, something significant occurred concerning the internet and social media. The government implemented restrictions limiting people's access to internet and blocking social media sites, and even tools that could help people bypass these restrictions, such as VPNs. Why did they do all this? Well, the government's main aim with the restrictions was to control what people could see and share online, particularly during elections. They wanted to carefully manage the flow of information during this critical period. However, actions like these tend to raise some serious concerns. Many people were worried about their freedom of speech and their right to access information. They felt that these restrictions limited their ability to express themselves online and to freely access information. It's essentially a conflict between government's objectives and people's digital rights and freedom. Now, as we shift our focus from the specific incidents in Uganda to the broader global context, it's crucial to recognize the varying degrees of censorship around the world. And when it comes to strict censorship practices, China stands at the forefront. When you talk about giant tech companies like Apple and Google, they often steal the spotlight. But there's one tech titan that doesn't get as much attention on the global stage. It's called Tencent. Now you might be wondering, Tencent who? Well, here's the thing. Tencent is a colossal player in the tech world, especially in China. One of Tencent's most famous creations is WeChat. You can think of WeChat as a Swiss Army knife of apps. People use it to chat with friends, pay for stuff, order online, and even book doctor's appointments. It's a part of daily life for millions of people. Within WeChat, there are equivalents of Western apps like Tinder, Seamless, and Slack, along with hundreds of other popular services. In fact, WeChat's ecosystem is one of the most complete in the world, providing text messages with a hold-to-talk functionality, video conferencing, video games, but it also acts like a social media such as Instagram or Facebook, with the possibility of sharing pictures and videos on what is called WeChat Moments. But here's where things get dark. Tencent doesn't just provide cool apps, it also does something that might surprise you. It helps the Chinese government with censorship and surveillance. Yep, you heard that right. Censorship and surveillance. Tencent actively collaborates with the Chinese government to monitor, filter, or block internet-based content for users within the country. When you share messages privately with someone on WeChat and say something that is against the government, the best scenario is your message won't be sent. The worst scenario is that you can be jailed for it. One good example is this guy Shen, a construction supervisor who was jailed because of telling a joke in WeChat group alluding to a senior government official. You might be wondering, why should I care about China and Tencent? Well, the shocking truth is that Tencent's influence extends far beyond China's borders and affects even those of us who are thousands of miles away. When you're sharing a laugh on Snapchat, discussing trends on Reddit, or engrossed in Riot Games or Ubisoft, you're part of Tencent's digital empire. This Chinese tech giant owns major game studios like Riot Games and Ubisoft, making it the world's largest game company with 25% international gaming revenue. It also has stakes in companies like Tesla Motors, solidifying its global digital influence. The Great Firewall of China is a government-operated system that controls internet control within the country by monitoring, filtering, and blocking certain websites and platforms. So, Tencent, being a significant tech company, adheres to Chinese laws by censoring content on platforms like WeChat. This strict regulation results in blocking global sites such as Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, and major news outlets like the New York Times, limiting internet access for users in China. Let's delve deeper into popular culture and explore how censorship is depicted in the Silo series. In this world, the government controls people by spying on them. One strict rule is that nobody can own anything from the time before the silo. If they break this rule, they face severe consequences, even death. People inside the silo are not allowed to talk about living, and if they do, they're sent outside where they quickly die from the poisonous air. Everyone is constantly watched, and if someone is sent outside to clean camera, they can only survive for a short time before being overwhelmed by the toxic environment. Inside the silo, people see a different version of events, showing just how much control and censorship are at play in this story. However, the series ends differently than it begins. In the season finale of Silo, Juliet Nicholas manages to untangle most of the conspiracies in just few weeks as sheriff. She discovers that the government has been effectively controlling the population by keeping some people sterile and surveilling the silo through a mix of brutal force and bureaucratic nonsense. She also learns what outside the silo actually looks like, and it's actually worse than what the government was letting people know. As we wrap this up, some of the key takeaways is that the internet and social media have transformed how information spreads, providing both opportunities and challenges in censorship. In some cases, governments use censorship to shield citizens from harmful content such as hate speech. Excessive censorship raises ethical concerns about privacy and freedom of expression. Balancing security and digital rights is crucial. Engaging in discussions, supporting organizations, and advocating for open access are key in addressing these challenges. Join me in upcoming episodes as I delve deeper into the transformative impact of technological evolution across various industries. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay connected on this journey of discovery.